Refuse to lose. I'm built to win. Apply myself. I filled it in. No time for the doubt. They counted me out. I'm getting it in. Yeah. No time for no loss. I'm paying the cost. I'm in it to win. Yeah. Refuse. Mine it can't be diffused. If you ain't thinking the same, then we playing by different rules. You can't see the vision, we living at different views. Until we complete the mission, keep getting up, never snooze. I walked a mile in my shoes, had the mind of a fool, chasing diamonds and jewels. Trust me, I was confused. Started minding my business and used my mind as a tool. Ended up finding my purpose and found the time to get to it. They told me I couldn't do it, they told me I couldn't make it. They sold it, could never break it. That's sadly mistaken. I need a piece of the pie, I want it so bad I can taste it. They told me like Toby, keep on running toes, they gon' take them. Refuse to lose, built to win. Apply myself, I filled it in. No time for the doubt, they counted me out, I'm getting it in. Yeah. No time for no loss, I pay for the cost, I'm winning to win. Yeah. Refuse to lose, I'm built to win. Apply myself, I filled it in. No time for the doubt, they counted me out, I'm getting it in. Yeah. No time for no loss, I'm paying the cost, I'm in it to win. Yeah. Refuse.
Welcome back to CTC. I'm your gracious host, Carl, and I'm back with another episode. Today we will be previewing the big slate today. See my name, Big Slate Saturday. I got 8 games for y'all. It's a ton of games, but I thought these were 8 big games, so I wanted to bring them to y'all. Also, my pick'em record, not 9-0. As you can see, I don't care that we lost. I'm gonna still rep my squad, but Michigan State took a loss to Michigan by 12 last night. So I'm currently 9-1 in my pick'em because I did pick Sparty to win. Haven't lost to them boys at the Braves in 8 years. Forgot what it felt like. It sucks. But we're going to see them again March at the end of the season. So we'll get payback at the Chrysler Center. Just a terrible first half. Can't have it. Down 16 at halftime. Just can't have it. But we fought our way back. Ended up going up 2. But after that, it was another avalanche. But like I said, we got 8 games to go over today beyond that. So hopefully we can keep the winning streak alive. And we're going to start with a big game in the Mountain West. We have San Diego State at Utah State. Now, this is 1-2 in conference. San Diego State is 8-1 in conference. Utah State is 7-2 in conference. Both have a common loss to Grand Canyon. San Diego State lost by 1. Grand Canyon hit 2 free throws on the road. Grand Canyon won pretty handily at home against Utah State. If San Diego State wins this game, they will be in firm position of the first seed by 2 games. If Utah State wins this game, they will have the first seed by virtue of this tiebreaker. So this is a big game so far early on, and midway through, I should say, conference play. So let's get into it. So San Diego State will be without Magoon Guaf. He is out, I believe, with a hip injury, so he will not be playing. So that is a huge miss for the Aztecs, and I'll just say a sigh of relief for the Utah State Aggies. But San Diego State is led by Miles Bird. I always say Nick because Nick Boyd of Wisconsin, but Miles Bird, 11 points per game, 4.2 rebounds per game, and 2.2 steals per game. Reese Dixon Waters, 11.5 points per game, 3.9 rebounds per game. And now B.J. Davis with the injury to Magoon Guaf, averaging 10.9 points per game, 3.3 rebounds, and 1.3 steals per game. Their X factor to me is going to be Miles Heide. His role is going to be larger, again, due to the loss of Magoon Guaf. So he's going to have to impact the game a lot more. Now for Utah State, they're led by MJ Collins, averaging 19 points per game and a steal. Mason Falslab averaging 16.3 points per game, 5.9 rebounds, and 2.4 steals. And Drake Allen averaging 6.4 points per game and 5.2 assists and 1.8 steals per game. And their X factor to me is going to be Kobe King, scoring off the bench, averaging 8.4 points per game. The more points that they pile on the San Diego State Aztecs, the better for the Utah State Aggies. And in this one, I am going to roll with the Aggies due to the injury to Magoon Guaf. I think that is a big blow to the Aztecs. Also, Aggies playing at home, tough to beat at home. So I think that plays another factor into this game. Now, San Diego State is a good road team, so that bodes well for them. But ultimately, I think with MJ Collins scoring the way he can, Mason Falslev being the big impact player that he is. I think it's a little too much for San Diego State. So give me the Aggies to win at home against the Aztecs. Now we move forward to a game that should be good, man. Texas A&M at Georgia. Georgia's such a good home team. Lost by 1 to Tennessee, which I don't know how in the world. I was it Marcus Millender, I think it was. I think it was Marcus Millender who took the layup down 3. That was crazy. They ran out so much time, ended up taking a layup, which Tennessee let them have it. They're down 3, and they ended up losing by 1. That ending was kind of crazy in overtime. But nonetheless, they play so well at home, taking on a Texas A&M team who's been on fire of lately. I believe winning 8 of their last 9 or something like that. They've been on fire. They've beaten teams like South Carolina on this. I'm gonna just list them off. I got it right here. South Carolina, Mississippi State, Texas, lost to Tennessee. That's the one loss. Oklahoma, and the Tennessee loss was on the road. Oklahoma, Auburn on the road, LSU at home. And then the rest is like Prairie View and some non-conference stuff. But in conference, they have 1 loss to Tennessee. So they've been playing really well. They're actually at the top of the SEC right now at 6-1. So shout out to them. While they are playing Georgia, who's 4-4 at SEC play, but like I said, a good home team. They're 11-2 at home. So, and they beat Auburn at home. And I want to say double overtime. I remember watching that game. That Auburn shouldn't even have gotten overtime. The way they got into overtime was pretty crazy. But we'll start with Texas A&M, man. Big injury. I mean, he's been gone for a while. Mackenzie Mbako, is out for the year, so he will not be in any Texas A&M games. But they are led by not Ruben Dominguez. Well, he's a part of it too. But Rayshawn Agee, 13.7 points per game. 8.7 rebounds per game and 1.1 steals. The aforementioned Ruben Dominguez, averaging 12.9 points per game. And Rylan Griffin, averaging 11.6 points per game and 1.8 steals per game. He is the transfer from Alabama. Now, my X factor for them will be Pop Isaacs and his ability to score off the bench, averaging 10.4 points per game. He was a bucket wherever he went. Now, I believe the Creighton year is the one where his year got cut short due to injury, but he was a bucket at Texas Tech. And to start Creighton before he got hurt, he was a bucket at Creighton. But we move on to the Georgia Bulldogs, led by Marcus Millender, averaging 12 points per game, 3.5 assists, and 1 steal. Jeremiah Wilkinson, averaging 17.1 points per game and 1.7 steals per game. And Samto for short, because I'm not finishing that name. Samto Cyril, averaging 9.6 points per game, 6 rebounds per game, and 2.9 blocks per game. Now, the X factor to me in this one is going to be Cannon Catchings, who was a big X factor to me in the last one against Tennessee. If he catches fire, he gets to the cup, he starts putting on the barrage of scoring, Georgia's going to be tough to beat at home. So he's averaging 10.5 points per game, shooting 31.4% from the 3, which is not great. It's okay. But like I said, Cannon Catchings, he can catch fire. And he was an X factor for me a ton last year at BYU. So I think he's going to be a big X factor in this Georgia game, in my opinion. But my winner, I know Texas A&M 6-1. I know they on fire. But I'm taking Georgia at home, man. Georgia at home is just a tough team to deal with. And I think that Tennessee, escaped Georgia. I don't think Georgia let 2 teams escape at home. While Texas A&M has been playing really well, I think Georgia's been playing well at home. So give me the Bulldogs at home to beat the Aggies. Next, we have SMU at 20th ranked Louisville. That may change after this week. We'll see Monday. But this game is 2 o'clock on ESPN. Oh, by the way, sorry. Utah State 6.5-point dogs. As you can read under the ticker. And then Georgia's 3.5-point home dog. Utah State 6.5-point favorites. Georgia's 3.5-point favorites. And Louisville is 9.5-point home favorites. Taking on the SMU Mustangs. 2 o'clock on ESPN. For SMU, they're led by Boopie Miller. Boopie Miller is averaging 19.4 points per game, 3.7 rebounds per game, 6.7 assists, and 1.8 steals. Jerron Pierre Jr., the transfer from Jack State, he's averaging 17.5 points per game and 4.9 rebounds. And BJ Edwards averaging 14.2 points per game, 5.9 rebounds per game, 5.4 assists, and 2.6 steals per game. Absolutely doing a good job on the defensive end. Now, that X factor to me is Samit Utiglu, excuse me, with his rebounding and paint protection. He's averaging 8.1 boards per game and 1.6 blocks. That's going to be huge going against the Louisville team that likes to attack the paint. Ali Khalifa is a low himself as a big man. Keyshawn Pryor is a guy that likes to live around the rim. So rim protection, rebounding is going to be key against Louisville. Now, Louisville, they're led by Ryan Conwell, averaging 19.4 points per game, 5 rebounds per game, and 1.3 steals. Michael Brown Jr., his third game back from injury, averaging 16.1 points per game, 5.1 assists per game. And Isaac McNeely, the shooter, averaging 11.5 points per game and 3.1 rebounds per game. Now, their X factor to me is going to be Javon Hadley, adding more scoring to a team that loves to score a ton of points in the SMU. He's averaging 10.8 points per game. The transfer from Colorado, not last year, but 2 years ago. I think his additional scoring is going to be big in this one because, like I said, Boopy, he can get to it. Jerron Pierre, he can get to it. BJ Edwards, he can get to it. So they got a bunch of guys that can score, and I think Hadley's scoring ability is going to be big in this one. And I'm going to take the Louisville Cardinals at home, avenging with a 30-point loss on the road to Duke. Like I said, Louisville, great against unranked opponents, not so great against ranked opponents. SMU's not ranked. Now, SMU is a really good team. Do not get me wrong. Very good team. But they're not ranked. And Louisville's at home looking to avenge a big loss. I'm going to take Louisville in this one. Next, we got Ohio State at Wisconsin. Now, I tried. I did try to look it up, man, and it's not really giving me too much. All I see is that they're questionable, and Christoph Tilley and Gabe Cupps for Ohio State. That's all I see. That's the best I can give you, that they are questionable. I'm assuming they're going to play with the questionable injury designation, but I can't confirm anything that because it's nothing to like. Nothing confirms nothing on the internet. So sorry about that. I did try though. I tried as much as like 10 minutes ago before I went live. Oh, it's not 10 minutes ago, excuse me, because I've been live for 12. Whatever 5 minutes past, I've been live. So I literally tried to find some information. But we'll start with Ohio State. And we'll leave Gabe Cupps and Christoph Tilley out of it just because I don't want to confirm that they're playing and they don't play. So they're led by Bruce Thornton. Now, Bruce Thornton is averaging 19.6 points per game, 5.5 rebounds per game, 3.7 assists, and 1.4 steals. John Mobley Jr., who can heat up with the best of them, averaging 16.1 points per game, and Devin Royal averaging 13.9 points per game, 5.7 rebounds per game. Their X factor to me is a freshman I really like in Amari Bynum. Especially if Christoph Tilley does not play because they got to deal with those big fellas in Nolan Winters down low and on the perimeter. So I think he's going to be really big in this one. Now, Wisconsin, they're led by John Blackwell, averaging 18.4 points per game, 5.1 rebounds, and 1.2 steals. Nick Boyd averaging 20 points per game, 3.6 rebounds, 3.6 assists, and 1 steal. And Nolan Winter averaging 13.9 points per game, 8.6 rebounds, and 1.2 blocks. Now, my X factor is going to be Alexis Bielinskis with depth down low. Again, with Tilley questionable, Amari Bynum role has increased if Tilley does not play. And I think that Wisconsin can get Ohio State with their front court depth, which is why I'm picking Wisconsin, not only because of their front court depth, but it's tough to beat Wisconsin at the Kohl Center. That is a bit tough environment to go in and win. Wisconsin always plays sound fundamental defense. They rarely get in foul trouble. So you add that with the fact that they have the front court presence against Ohio State. Now, Ohio State has the backcourt scoring, but Wisconsin got backcourt scoring to match John Blackwell and Nick Boyd. So it's a tough one for Ohio State to come out of, man. I'm going with Wisconsin at home at the Kohl Center to get the dub here. Next, we have a top 15 matchup here. We have BYU, 13th ranked, taking on 14th ranked Kansas. 4:30 on ESPN at Lawrence. Now, I did hear a couple days ago that Darren Peterson will be playing in this ball game. So it'll be Darren Peterson, AJ DeBonster, just like people want to see. Battle of the number 1 and 2 draft picks in this upcoming draft, which should be a fun game to watch. Game is 4:30 on ESPN. Kansas, 3.5-point home favorite, excuse me. Now for BYU, they're obviously led by the freshman phenom AJ DeBanster. AJ DeBance is averaging 23.6 points per game, 6.7 rebounds per game, 3.6 assists, and 1.3 steals. Rob Wright averaging 17.5 points per game, 5.2 assists, and 1.3 steals per game. And y'all know I always say he's the unsung hero in Kiba Keita, dating back to last year, averaging 6.9 points per game, 7.8 rebounds, 1.1 steals per game, and 1.9 blocks per game. Now, their X factor to me is going to be Richie Saunders because Kansas can score. And I think Richie Saunders' scoring ability will be huge in this one. His three-point shooting will be huge in this one. He's averaging 18.8 points per game. So that's going to be big in this matchup. Now, for Kansas, they're led by Darren Peterson. He's averaging 21.6 points per game, 4.6 rebounds, and 1 steal per game. They're also led by Floyd Badunga, who, y'all, if you listen, well, I really haven't announced it on the show. It's really been in the chats. But I am super high in Floyd Badunga. I think Floyd Badunga has the potential to be a lottery pick, if you ask me. So I just love his motor. I love how he plays the game. I love his intensity on the defensive end. I'm super high on Floyd Badunga. He's averaging 14.4 points per game, 9 rebounds, and 2.7 blocks per game. And Melvin Council Jr., man. He's averaging 13.7 points per game, 4.6 rebounds per game, and 5.2 assists per game. Their X factor to me is going to be Bryson Tiller. Now, BYU isn't the greatest in the front court, and that's why I have Bryson Tiller as my X factor, the freshman for Kansas, because I think if that front court gets very active, if they start attacking in the front court, it'll pose a lot. One, it'll put a lot of pressure on Kiba Keita to stay out of foul trouble. But two, I think it'll force BYU to get bigger guys in the game and take some of that scoring out. So I think that Bryson Tiller is going to be an X factor. He's averaging 8.4 points per game, 5.8 rebounds, and 1.4 blocks. So I think that's going to be huge in this one. But I'm going BYU. I think BYU showed me something in that Arizona game because Arizona got depth too with Cruces and Owaka and Cole Pete. And yes, the game was ugly. But they showed me fight, they showed me heart, and they showed me a will to win. And it all came down to a Braden Burry's great help block at the last second to prevent a BYU amazing comeback yet again. And this ain't the first time we've seen BYU come back. Let's remember against Clemson early in the year. I think that was in New York. They came back and won that game. So no matter the score, BYU is never out of it. And we all also know that Darren Peterson in second halves don't really play as much. Unfortunately, I would love to see it. But due to crampers and stuff like that, he's missed a ton of second halves. How would that be for Kansas? So I'm going to roll with BYU as road dogs to take this ball game against Kansas. Now, next, we got a big matchup, not in terms of like standings or anything. If I bring up the SEC standings, I don't think Kentucky is as high as people would like. I know Arkansas is pretty high in the standings. Let's see, I got them right here. Arkansas is second, 6-2, tied with Florida. While Kentucky's 5-3, so they're tied for third with Vandy, Auburn, Tennessee, technically, and Alabama. So it's a higher matchup than I realized. But this is Cal welcoming his former team into the Tyson's Food Arena. Mark Pope with Kentucky going against Arkansas. Arkansas 6.5-point home favorites, 6:30 on ESPN. Now Kentucky, they're led by Otega Oweh. He's averaging 16.3 points per game, 4.3 rebounds, 2 steals. Denzel Aberdeen averaging 12.4 points per game, and Malachi Marino averaging 8.5 points per game, 6.5 rebounds, and 1.6 blocks per game. Now, the X factor in this one to me is going to be Colin Chandler because Arkansas got all those guards, man. They got Darius Acuff, DJ Wagner, Billy Richmond. So they got guys that can go on the offensive end. I keep saying Kevin Knox, but that's not his name. And I can't remember his name because Kevin Knox is this former guard in Kentucky. But I can't remember his name, but Knox. They got guards that can go. So I think Colin Chandler is going to have to wake up and score some points today, which he's pretty solid in scoring, hit some threes. Now, Arkansas, they're led by Darius Acuff, who a lot of people think is the best point guard that Cal has ever had, which is an honor in itself to be even mentioned with, but I don't know. Averaging 20.2 points per game, 6.4 assists per game. Malik Thomas averaging 15.2 points per game, 3.6 rebounds per game, and 1.5 steals. And Trevon Brazile averaging 12.3 points per game, 6.9 rebounds per game, 1.6 steals, and 1.2 blocks. Now, the X factor for Arkansas is going to be Billy Richmond III, averaging 8.3 points per game, 3.6 rebounds. Again, adding scoring to the Arkansas Razorbacks, and that's why I'm going to pick him as my X factor. But my winner, I'm going with Arkansas here, man. Arkansas, quiet as kept, has been playing great basketball. I mean, really great basketball. Kentucky has been playing good basketball, but they're just coming off of a road blowout from Vandy Tuesday night. I know they want to avenge it, but they're on the road again. And Arkansas is really good at home. Excuse me. I mean, really good at home. 12-1. I mean, 13-0, undefeated at home. So that's huge there. Their only 2 losses in conference play came on the road. One on the road against Georgia, going back to my Georgia, Texas A&M, and 2 on the road against Auburn. So, but at home, like I said, 13-0, 11.1 against Tennessee. At home, well, South Carolina sucks. So, and that's my mom. I can say that. At home against Vanderbilt, 25-point win. At home against LSU sucks, but they won by 4. So tough team to beat at home. So I'm going with Arkansas. Next, Auburn versus Tennessee at Rocky Top. We got Auburn. Oh, I ain't turn the page. Led by Keyshawn Hall, the transfer from George Mason. By the way, Tennessee is a 5.5-point favorite. This game is 8:30 on ESPN. Auburn led by Keyshawn Hall, 7.4 boards per game and 20.9 points per game. Excuse me. Todd Pettiford, 13.4 points per game, 3.1 assists per game, and 1 steal per game. And Kevin Overton averaging 12.7 points per game, 3.2 rebounds, and 1.5 steals per game. Now, their X factor in this one, to me, is going to be Keyshawn Murphy with the help down low against Felix Akpara and JP Estrella. Jalen Carey, is questionable with an injury, but I think he should play. But Murphy's going to be big in this one. He's averaging 6.5 rebounds per game. He's going to be tough. It's going to be tough for him down low. Now, Tennessee, they're led by the Maryland transfer by way of Belmont. Jacoby Gillespie, averaging 19 points per game, 5.6 assists, and 1.7 steals. Nate Ament, 16.3 points per game, 6.4 rebounds per game, and 1.3 steals. And Felix Akpara, averaging 6.8 points per game, 5.9 rebounds, and 1.6 blocks per game. Now, their X factor to me was kind of an X factor in this Georgia game, and that's going to be Bishop Boswell, scoring 6.5 points per game. He's going to have to pour it on scoring against the Auburn team that loves to score, but Auburn can allow other teams to score as well, which kind of is an issue for the Auburn Tigers. So that's why he's my X factor. But my winner, and this one is going to decide whether somebody slides in the standings or somebody moves up. Going Tennessee at Rocky Top, man. Tennessee at home, 10-1. Auburn on the road, 2-3. Jets getting a win. They just played Texas, But yeah, man, they're 10-1 at home for Tennessee. Auburn won 4 straight, however. Tennessee has won 2 straight, so not really a streak. But again, tough team to beat at Rocky Top. Watch them dominate Kentucky at home. So I don't think they dominate Auburn, but I do think they keep pace and put up a bunch of points and win this game against Auburn at home. And the last game I got for y'all, St. Mary's at Gonzaga. I know I got to throw a group of 5 in there. Oh, not group of 5, mid-major in there. It's not college football, Carl. Yeah, I know I got to throw mid-major in there. Gonzaga comes into this one as 8.5-point home favorites, even without Braden Huff. Graham Ike is returning tonight, but Braden Huff is out again for the 8 weeks. 10:30 on ESPN. St. Mary's, led by Paulus Marcus, 19.3 points per game, 7.5 rebounds per game. Mikey Lewis, averaging 13.2 points per game, shooting 37.2% from 3. And Joshua Dent, averaging 13.3 points per game, 5.4 assists, and 1.5 steals per game. Now, the X factor to me is going to be Harry Wessels with the help against Graham Ike down low. Now, Gonzaga will have more of an advantage with Braden Huff, but Braden Huff is not playing. He is out for some time. So they're going to have to help with Graham Ike. Now, Gonzaga is led by Graham Ike, averaging 18.1 points per game, 8.8 rebounds per game, Tyon Grant Foster averaging 11.5 points per game, 4.8 rebounds, and 1.1 blocks. And Braden Smith, the transfer from Colgate, averaging 6 points per game, 4.3 assists, and 1.2 steals per game. Now, their X factor to me is Mario St. Superi, scoring 8.5 points per game in a game where normally Gonzaga, St. Mary's is a defensive game, so points come as a premium. So if he's putting up a ton of points, that helps the Gonzaga Bulldogs. And I'm rolling with Gonzaga here. Now, I would be more confident, obviously, in Gonzaga if Braden Huff was playing, but he's not. At home, this is I don't know if I would call this, it's a rivalry in terms of back and forth. But I don't know if this is like a rivalry in terms of like hatred for schools and stuff like that. But in terms of like going back and forth, winning a WCC, stuff like that, this is become a rivalry. I believe St. Mary's won the WCC like a year or two ago, like 2 years ago, actually. So this is a competitive WCC matchup. But I think Gonzaga gets it done here at home. They did just escape San Francisco, but that was without Graham EK and Braden Huff again. Graham EK is back. So I think that makes it that much tougher for St. Mary's to win. Also, St. Mary's doesn't have the super front court presence of years past. They still have a front court pairs with Paulus, don't get me wrong. But it's not as good to me as years prior. They're still a really good team, however. But give me Gonzaga in this one to win at home. And that is all the matchups I have for y'all today. Just have fun, lock in. We got basketball from 12 noon to 12:30 midnight or around that time, depending if we got any overtimes or anything. I believe Gonzaga St. Mary's is the last tip-off at 10:30. So we got a whole 12, 13 hours of college basketball I can't wait to dive into. Now, tomorrow, I'll probably be back tomorrow later in the day to do this week in college basketball, wrapping up this entire week of college basketball. Spoiler alert, I do have to congratulate Michigan on this week's of college basketball, unfortunately. But we don't show no bias here. Now, to do some house cleaning, this is a network, so we have multiple shows. We have the main show featuring Joe, Tomo, and Dave. New schedule, Mondays and Thursdays, 7 o'clock to about 8:30. So new days, time doesn't change, however. So make sure y'all tune into that. We got Unfazed. Now, those days and times have changed, so just be on the lookout for them. That's featuring Joe and AJ. Just be on the lookout because I don't even know what days they go live anymore currently. We got BWT, Baseball with Teddy. Shout out to him for all your baseball needs. Holla at Teddy. FFC, Fantasy Football with Coach Coombs. Again, fantasy football is over, but just be on the lookout for what type of content he will be making. I'm pretty sure he'll start talking about like free agency and stuff like that as we move on to that period after the Super Bowl. Next, we have Dave's Doghouse, highlights and lowlights of sport. We have RBO. He just went live last night. RBO Robot is only featuring Vaughn. NBA show, so make sure you check out his latest episode last night. I think he was talking about the trade deadline. Next, we have In the Red Corner, boxing episodes featuring Joe, Tomo, and Ricky. Not Joe, excuse me. Tomo, Ricky, and Ty. Sorry, Joe. Tomo, Ricky, and Ty. Boxing episodes. They go live on Sundays. Not every Sunday, but when they do go live, it is on Sundays. And it's around 6:30, 7 o'clock. So, for all your boxing needs, make sure you check them out. Speaking of Dave Doghouse, just got the word that he will be going live at noon. So make sure y'all tune into Dave's Doghouse at noon. See who's in the doghouse, see who's a dog. And that's all the shows we have on the network. So please like, comment, share, subscribe to those shows as well as to this show. So you can help us out. But that's all I have for y'all today. I will see y'all tomorrow for This Week in College Basketball, wrapping up This Week in College Basketball, obviously. And y'all enjoy y'all Saturdays. Until then, I am gone. Peace.
Thank you for staying to the end. If you're watching this on YouTube, please like this video, subscribe, and also hit that notification button so you can be notified next time we put out a video. If you're listening on any podcast platform, subscribe and hit that notification button, y'all, so you can be notified we put out another podcast audio. And last but not least, hit that share button. No matter what you're listening to or watching it, hit that share button and send it to somebody that you know that would love to watch this episode you just listened to. So once again, thank you for staying to the end, and we'll see y'all in the next episode.